This is a story about how I came to a new relationship with fear, one in which fear is embraced and not fought with, where it becomes more of a companion and much less of an obstacle. And how did I get to this place? Some wise friends taught me that I am bigger than my feelings, and that rings true for me because I'm not just a pile of feelings. I am dreams and principles, and as I move through life in pursuit of those, the feelings, as big and as messy as they are exactly what I need to measure how fully I'm living. But they are not me. They're just a part of me, and that gives me the safety to hold them and not be overwhelmed by them, and to look. The physicist Heisenberg said that all you have to do is look at something and it changes. And as I looked at my fear, I saw that it wasn't just one kind of fear. There were different kinds. Some were sharp and acute. They appeared instantly in the face of real danger, and as soon as that danger had passed, they were gone. These were the instinctive life-saving fears, and I knew I had to listen to them. And then there were the messy fears. These often came with anxiety and nausea. They would show up long before anything even happened and linger long afterwards, and I could tell that these were connected with my relationships. And I could trace them all the way back to my childhood, where I, being transgender and being raised as a little Chinese boy, and asking for things from the heart of a little girl, like the toys and the friends and the clothes, I was met with ridicule, and I took it upon my shoulders to never shame the entire Chinese world again, and I wrote powerful stories, dictated to me by my world, retold over a lifetime by my fears, stories that would make sure I would never be vulnerable again. We become our stories, and yet they are just stories. And the change I made was to no longer fight the stories in order to get through the fear, but instead to say to them, through some tears, "Thank you. You served me well, but I'm not that little kid anymore, and in fact, I have a whole community that's pulling for me, and you're in my way. So thank you, and goodbye." The purpose being not to erase the stories. I can't do that. The awful things that happened, they really happened, and the stories, they had a lifetime to perfect themselves, but I wanted to move them into the distance just far enough for me to write new stories to replace the old ones. And the old stories, they're still there, and that's okay. They're still spinning away, always trying to hook me because that's what they know how to do, and I think I'll always believe them just a little bit. But having honored them, and no longer giving them the energy of the fight, my energy, they've become quieter, and that leaves me in a powerful place. I shared all of this with a lesbian friend of mine over dinner one night, and after I was done, she was staring pensively at the floor. And she said, "I have to share something with you." She said years ago when she was struggling with coming out, she had taken a trip, and she found herself at the top of a cliff. As she stared over the edge at the waters crashing on the rocks far below, she decided it was too terrifying to live with being gay. And so she reached deep into her heart, and she ripped out everything that was gay, and she threw it over the cliff to be rid of being gay and her fears forever. And then she went back down to the bottom of the cliff. But when she got there, she felt confused because she still felt afraid. And she said, "You know, I think I get it now. I think I see." The fears at the top and the bottom of the cliff, they were different. At the top of the cliff, that was the fear of living with being gay, and at the bottom, thinking I had gotten rid of being gay, that was the fear of dying without ever having lived. I hope I've shared a little insight with you, perhaps even a little wisdom, that you are bigger than your feelings, and there is safety there, safety to look at your fears and look deeply. But just look. Don't fight, don't engage, just look, and you'll begin to see, and you'll begin to feel that the fears are different. There are those that serve you, and those that don't, and of those that don't, those that may come from old stories, thank the old stories. They did what they had to do. But having thanked them and honored them, they will move gently into the distance, far enough for you to write new stories with which to guide your life. Make the new stories yours.